one thing I've learned is patience.
Yeah.
I used to be very impatient. I used to like want those chap things. And here is a boy who will eat in 1 hour.
Okay.
Here is a boy who will tell you things you will not understand.
Yes.
Here is a boy that will start crying in a supermarket because he wants a toy car that is color yellow.
Oh. Welcome to today's episode. This is the second episode of Womenpreneurship with me, Leah Mwangi Hassan, here on Clutch TV. And today we are privileged to have one amazing woman who will introduce herself shortly, and she will be working with us her journey with her son. Welcome, dear.
Thank you so much.
What is your name? Tell us your beautiful names.
My name is Nancy Wawera, and I'm a mother to two beautiful children. Thank you for having me today.
Yes, welcome. Thank you also for accepting our invite. You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Can you can share us the names of your children?
I have two children, a boy and a girl. I have a girl who is the firstborn. Her name is Lorena Tugi, and my boy is Dylan Harry. And I thank God for those two blessings. Yes.
How old is how old is Tugi?
Tugi is 17 years old now, and Dylan is 10 years old. Yeah, so they have an age difference of like 6.5 to 7 now.
Oh, yes. It was your plan to space them like that?
It wasn't a plan, but it was that's how God made it possible, and I am grateful. Yes.
That is so beautiful. You had time to bond with your daughter, then now your son, so even they don't have the conflict there.
No, they are actually friends. Everybody received their own attention, equal good attention, so they are good. We are good. Yeah.
So can you tell us something about Dylan?
Yeah, Dylan is like I said, he's 10 years old.
Yes.
And he's in the autism spectrum. That is, he's living with autism. He's different. He was born like any other child, but he is different. He's living with a condition. And he operates differently. That's what we say. We say he is differently talented. He's a wonderful child. He's handsome. Maybe he's good.
So, Mama Dylan, what is autism?
Autism is a learning disability. It is a condition that makes a child function differently in many ways, in socialization and the cognitive skills. The way he's able to interact with other children is different. The way he learns. So it's a learning condition. We say that it makes them process life differently than any other child. Yes. Yes.
So how old was Dylan when you found out he has the condition?
Dylan was 3 years old when I discovered that we are not having the conversation that I thought we should. What we say, the neurotypical child has those milestones that a child is supposed to follow. But then when we got to 3 years old, I was like, the myth of boys are usually slow was not making sense again. And I thought, now I need to seek more advice on what could be the problem. So that's when I decided to go and see a pediatrician, and an assessment was done, and I was told that he had autism. It was a strange word by then, and I just got now into the business of understanding what autism was. It was the first time that I heard of the word. Yes.
How did you take it?
It was a shock. I was in shock. I was in denial. And I found it very hard to understand why such a big thing would happen to a child who was so innocent. So it was very hard for me to process. But again, I knew that I had to do it quickly because my son needed me at that particular time. It wasn't easy, but I was able to go through the process. Yes.
Maybe before Dylan now,
Yes.
before you discovered that Dylan now has autism, maybe did you have anyone around you or close to you, a relative or a friend who has a child with autism? Maybe you had someone to relate with.
No, I was clueless on autism. I had not heard about it. The society, I think by that time there was nothing on autism. So it was something very strange to me. And I knew that even if there was something like that, it couldn't be in my house. So it was new. It was a very new idea to me. Yes.
Okay. So I have just done like a small research, and I found out that there are some children with autism who are able to speak. Others can speak. Others they have. Yani it is a different thing with each child. It is not like all the children with autism they can do this now. They can't do this. So what is Dylan able to, and what is he not able to?
Okay. With autism, the reason why they call it autism spectrum disorder, it's because it's a spectrum. And every child with autism presents himself or herself different. And there are so many issues that are related with autism, but what will happen to one child will not happen to the next. So with Dylan, he had a problem with expressing himself. He a problem with communication. He called me mom when he was 4 years old. And from that time till now, that has been a span of 6 years. It has been improving on his communication, his language. And like I say, it is like watching the hair grow. He may learn one word in 1 month or even 2 months. So at the moment, Dylan is not able to communicate well with everyone. He has learned a few sentences right now. We have moved from words to sentences, but he's not able to communicate himself like a normal child. So he's different in communication. We've had to learn his language. He's able to ask for what he wants, and if at all he's not able to do it verbally, he will. Like if he wants something, he will take your hand and take you to where that thing is, so that he's able to tell you, this is what I want. Yeah, that's how he communicates.
Wow.
Yes.
So what does he really like to do? Like the activity that excite him. What are some of the activity that excite him that you can see that these are the things that now Dylan likes?
One thing I have discovered with him is that he's very, very intelligent. And he likes a lot of things to do with technology. He loves phones, tablets, playing computer games. And he's a custodian of my passwords. He remembers my phone password.
Wow.
So he's able to access different things in the computer. And his favorite is he loves watching helicopters as they take off.
Okay.
As he's able to look inside a helicopter, and he's really interested in the technical aspect of the helicopter.
Yes.
So he loves the computer games, and in the recent past, he's now interested in food. Yeah.
In food?
Yes, food.
Variety of
foods, cakes.
Oh.
If you're cooking something, he will take his phone and tell you to type for him what you're cooking, so that he's able to see the process of making that food. So
he can read?
He can read, but he's not able to read a very complicated word.
Yes.
3-letter words, 4-letter words. Yeah, but he's able to verbalize or maybe give me a hint of what he wants.
Yes.
Yeah. Over the years, we have developed a language that not many can understand.
Okay. How you communicate.
Yes.
So have you gone to school? Like you see, if I know a mother who found out that her child is cannot hear.
Mhm.
So she had to go to school so that she can learn the sign language.
Mhm.
So did you go to school, or you had to figure out your communication skill between you and your son?
The first time that I was given the diagnosis of Dylan, I ran to social media and I typed autism because I was trying to find information on anything that would support my issue, that would give me more information. So I stumbled on social media groups, especially on Facebook, and I was able to just post my situation. My child has been diagnosed with autism. What is it? What can I do? I got a lot of support from social media. And I remember one particular lady who called me on that day, and she told me that, I know you are in shock, but Dylan's brain cannot wait for you to overcome your shock. So lift yourself up and get information. We started a conversation.
Yes.
So from them, I was able to be given ideas on what I was to do, on what I was to, where I was supposed to go, and they were sharing their stories. So I slowly started learning, and that's how I came to get ideas of what I could do with Dylan. Like we said, they are different. Autistic children are different. So they'll give you their story. Then you'll be able to relate to one or two things with your child. Then you can be able to pick and know what is it that you can do. Yes.
So, are you telling me that getting support group has helped you so much?
A lot. It's been everything.
Yes.
It's been everything. Because what happens with autism, it's like maybe in your neighborhood you may get one or two.
Yes.
But in the social circle there are so many. It's where people with a common interest come together for one cause. So it becomes easier. The information becomes broad, and there are more detailed information on what you can do in such a situation. So the social media platform has played a big role. With time, we have moved now into groups, not just the like the Facebook, WhatsApp groups, where we encourage each other each day, where we give ourselves challenges, where we come together because of even awareness and advocacy for the autistic children. Yes.
That is so beautiful.
Yes.
Because if you are alone and you're going through a certain situation, even if it is a small situation, if you don't think that, if you don't have people who you can relate with your situation, you'll think that the world is against you. You are alone, you are miserable, and that can lead you to depression. Even you'll not be able to help your child, or you will not even be able to help yourself. So that is so beautiful, and that was so nice of you finding a support system, people who understand. Even if you could just pick like your friends, they don't understand like the way your group understand, because they go through the same issue. They know how this child did not sleep. Even if you tell them, my child did not sleep, they have the idea. It's not like your friend will just tell, they will just tell you, okay, don't worry, you'll be okay. But that support system is so important.
It is, you can say that.
Yes.
Yes.
So do children with autism go to therapy, or do they have special teachers? Or any, how can you help, like not you as a parent? Is there any other help, like outside, a therapist, a teacher, or
okay? With autistic children, like I said, they are differently talented. They are very intelligent. But you will need someone who is trained on how their brains function to be able to tap into this intelligence, to be able to tap into this talent. And we have teachers who have been trained on special education and specifically on autism and other cognitive related disorders. So we have teachers in schools, like my son is in an integrated school. Like he is a school with other children who are neurotypical, who are just the ordinary child. So there are teachers in that school who have been trained on special education. And we also have the other teachers. You know, a teacher is a teacher. And they are able to help him navigate through the process, navigate through the curriculum that we have. But again, we also have special schools that are tailored just for this child who is differently talented, who is autistic. Yeah, and again with therapy, like when I discovered that Dylan was not okay, from the groups I was able to learn that it's good to have these children go through therapy, occupational therapy, because at some point there are some nerves that may need stimulation, like when there's no speech. So I engaged one who was able to see Dylan and help him be able to understand simple things like colors, simple things like the numbers of the alphabet, you know. So it's good to engage a therapist because they know how they can be able to tap into this wonderful brain that these children have. Yeah, so they do go through therapy. It is good to engage therapy. It's good to engage experts. It is good to engage the pediatricians, and even as you engage the teacher, so that you can be able to help this child. Yeah, you realize that this child, they need holistic support from all sides. From all sides, as much as we are Christians, we want to do the spiritual one, and we also need to do these other ones. So I've received a lot of support from the therapists. I've received support from church, from friends, from pastors, from the family. So it's a community kind of approach now to take care of this child, to help them understand themselves, because they have to understand themselves, and you now as a person to understand them. So therapy is good.
It's important.
Yes, it is.
Even what about the parents? Do parents go to therapy because they have, you know, even in marriage, if your marriage is not working, you go for therapy as a couple. So if your child is, do you go with your child for therapy? Or as a parent, do you take yourself to therapy? I mean, just like, my child will go to therapy, I'm okay.
No. What happens with a parent who is taking care of a differently talented child, an autistic child, is a parent with a very big burden on their shoulders. I remember when I got the diagnosis, I snapped into a depression because I am having worked in the church and serving the children. I felt like God had betrayed me. I was angry at God. And I remember telling God, this time you have let me down. And my first reaction was, I needed to not exist, you know. I didn't want to continue living. That was my experience. And there are so many parents who go through the same. When you're taking care of this child, you need a lot of energy. There are so many things that happen, and sometimes your life stops. Your social life stops. So you find that you have mental health issues. And if they are not addressed, you lose yourself, or you will abuse a child, or you will harm yourself. And here you are a mother, you are a parent with a child who is not well, who cannot even speak, maybe, some who may not even walk, some who are hyperactive, and you have to have a stable mind to be able to take care of these children. Again, you are his voice. If he cannot speak, like I say, I'm his voice, you know. So if at all you are not okay yourself, it means you're not able to deliver. You're not able to stand by them. You're not able to help them. So you will be, instead of helping them, you will be abusing them. You'll be hurting them. So a parent who is taking care of such a child will need to get therapy. You will need to get moral support. You will need pastoral support, because you have to be okay, because you have to, first of all, you have to accept, you know.
Yes.
You accept the
Yes.
situation so that you can be able to deal with it.
Yes.
Otherwise, even if you are in denial, you will not be able to help your child. So it is important. And one thing I do for myself is I do what I call self-care.
Yes.
If I feel like my child is drained, has drained me, I have to find a way of taking care of myself first so that I can be able to help you.
Yes.
One thing with autistic children is what we call meltdowns. A child would experience a meltdown. A meltdown is a child is overcome by emotions.
Yeah.
That child could even break things in the house, especially one who is overactive could break everything, hurt himself. They do hurt themselves.
Yes.
And they could do something that even you find yourself like you just want to
even they can put their hand on fire.
Yes, and they don't even, they
Feel
will
the
not
burn.
even feel the pain. So after such an episode, the child is tired, the parent is tired. So it is good to find time to feed your soul, relax yourself, so that you can be able to deal with it. Yeah, and you will not feel these feelings of helplessness. And again, like someone else may not even be understanding your situation, but you do. You know, so it is good you who understand yourself to take care of you so that you can be able to take care of the child. Yes.
What about the community? Even especially Africa, we deny a lot of things. We take a lot of things as witchcraft. How are you dealing with the community, with people who are giving you the negative vibe? You can feel it, or even some they tell you.
The community, the way we've been brought up as Africans is that we don't have a middle ground. You are either good or bad. A child is either normal or not normal. And I remember from where I come from, children who have disabilities were considered like a curse, you know, an outcast or something, the bad omen, you know. And the community has not been embracing such a child. And now here you are, the child is not in the neighborhood, it is your child. And here he is, he has to go to school. He has to go to church. He has to move around. He has to play with other children, you know. So it is you now to take care of the perception that other people have. You may not change them, but at least you have to create awareness. So it's true. There are so many things. From when I had the diagnosis of Dylan, I also became conscious now of the eyes around. I also became conscious of those statements, you know. And then you're moving with him in a car, you're in the matatu and somebody wants to talk to him and he does not respond. So they think the boy is rude.
He's rude,
you know? Or you go to the hospital and he has to be treated, you know. And here the medics are telling you, you know, like, your child is autistic and the way he's handsome, you know, like he's disadvantaged, you know. And here you are now, you have to like take it positively. I have had to develop a thick skin and a voice. I don't keep quiet. If I have to tell someone a story, I will spare 5 minutes and tell you, my friend, there's something called autism. This one has autism. He's too bright. You may not understand him, yeah? So he may not talk to you. And his speech came earlier, you know? So I am his voice. I speak. Even like where we live. There's a time I found some children bullying him. And I knew that the maybe the common thing would to take my child and hide him. But I just left it for that day. But the next day I called the children and I talked to them. I told them, hey, Dylan has this and this. He was born different. So when you see him, don't worry, don't laugh at him. Just say hi to him. So it's like the community is not, but you need to be very strong. To take such a move. Otherwise, that's why we are finding so many autistic children in homes. They are hidden, locked. They don't even go to school. Because you want to protect them, you know, not knowing that you are denying in the social skills they need. I remember there's a time our church was under construction, and I went to church with my boy.
Mhm.
And he started picking stones and throwing inside the church. You know what that means? You know, like I felt like now God is saying I stop going to church. And I went and told God, so you have decided I should not go to church. You know? But then with time I realized, no, there's something God wants me to do with that experience of Dylan. And so I made up my mind. I said I'll show up for him. Let everyone know the condition, because I don't know who will be autistic after Dylan. There could be so many other children. So it's us to change the society. It hasn't been easy, but it's a decision that I made, that if the opportunity presents itself, or if there's a likelihood of there being an opportunity, I seize it and I make sure I advocate for it. Yes.
Remember, Dylan, you
Yes.
see, sometimes as parents, you've given birth to a child. This child, you've taken them to school. They are in class 3. They can't read. They can't read a sentence. That is a problem.
It is.
What is the name of that problem? Why are we, we deny. As parents, we deny. We say this my child is normal because he can do all these things. How will I be able as a parent to know this my child is not okay?
Yes. Okay.
How will I be able to?
One thing is that we have been trained to believe that bright or good children are the ones who are able to get this performance. You know, everybody wants their children to be number one, unfortunately. But I'll tell you, Dylan right now is in grade 4. And he's not able to read a whole sentence. He will read 1 word, 3 words, 4 words, and leave the rest. So for me, that is progress.
Yes.
And I would like just to encourage parents to let children be. I thank God I got teachers who really understand his condition. But again, from the teachers, it's like it's the parents who are giving the teachers pressure.
Yeah.
So you will find that you want your child to perform, yet his capability is not in there.
Yeah.
So it is now us to believe that children are differently able.
Yes.
Children can accomplish different things.
Yes.
And they can become greater people without getting 100% in marks. They can become engineers, you know. Like when I look at there's a Sunday school teacher who calls my boy engineer, my engineer, you know, because you look at the skills that child is able to do, and you appreciate it, and you tell God, grow it, you know. So that is one thing. But with autism, for it to be autism, there are some things that happen to children who have autism. One thing, when they are born, as they progress, they are like 2 years, you will find that the child is not able to have eye contact, not be able to look at you like this.
Direct.
Yeah. They are not able to look at you like that. And they are hyperactive. Some don't sleep at night. They have very few hours of sleep. And I remember we used to have keshas in my house, you know. If you see Dylan sleeping during the day, you are sure you will have a kesha. So there are those things. There are children who also tiptoe, you know. They want to use their toes to walk. That is a red flag. There are children who will flap their ears. Yeah. And then there are others who will do things. There's something we call echolalia. Like if you say something, instead of them responding, they repeat. Like, how are you? How are you? Shasha. So you know, they will repeat whatever it is that you say. That is called, it's a repetitive kind of thing. Because they are not understanding what you're saying. So they're just,
their mind is not able to capture whatever you said and respond.
So they're just repeating, so that you leave them alone. They love, and then they love isolation. They don't want to stay with people. Their social skills are zero.
When they are alone, they are active and everything. But if someone comes in, they isolate themselves.
Yes. And then they have a very high tolerance for pain. That's why they can even hurt themselves. They don't fear danger. An autistic child can drown anywhere because they don't see any danger. They can just go into the swimming pool and they just get there and they will drown. They can burn. They can put their fingers on fire. because they don't recognize danger. They can even be right. The time I used to say I'll buy a chain so that I can tie Dylan to my arm as we walk on the road, because he does not even know the car is hooting or what. So like they are very delicate children. Yeah. So those are some of the signs. And again now the communication, like delayed speech. They are not able to pick language at an early level. Yeah. Yeah, those are just some.
Is there like a permanent treatment, or also I have researched and found that it gets better by age. So can, like, if the child is 2 years, I can say that by 5 years this child will be okay. Is there treatment to it?
Till today, no one has really established the cause of autism. It's just a lot of guesswork. A lot of people just imagine things. Yeah? But until today, there's nothing that has been linked to the cause of autism. And that's the same way that there is no treatment. So what is happening is people are dealing with the circumstances as they come, and each child presents himself with a different issue when in the autism. So we manage and we help them to live. Like you'll find maybe a child has an issue with the nutrients in the body, micronutrient, the way they are balanced in the body. So it is you to make sure your child is tested and know what he is lacking, so that you can be able to supplement. If it is therapy, if it is speech, you do speech therapy, nerve stimulation for that child. So it's more of the symptoms than the cause, because if the cause is not known, definitely then there's no treatment. So most people are doing what you call managing, and doing speech therapy, trying to do, to improve their social skills, and trying to tap into the brain, a lot of this. But there's so much research going on in the field of autism, so we believe it will get better. If you would have told me at, let's say, 5 years that Dylan would be what he used to be, I would have said no. But it's faith that kept me going, because at 10 years there's so much now we are able to process. I don't have to lock my gate anymore, because Dylan won't disappear. He knows home. So with time it gets better. With time they outgrow some of those challenges, but it does mean autism is gone. They learn to live with it. We say they live with it.
So I had a neighbor. I think the child had autism. By now, the way you're speaking now, I can because the mother was hiding him. But if he gets a chance to go out, he will run. He will run. He will just run. People will just say, amekimbia, nimemwona akikimbia. So he's just on the move. He's not standing and staying somewhere to hide. No, he's just moving.
The children come. They don't fear anything. Nothing can happen. I remember my son got lost. And I would go knocking the doors. Have you seen him? Have you seen him? You know that situation? I found him in someone's house. You know that mama was telling me, I have a visitor here. And there he was seated. He is not speaking. He was 4. He wasn't speaking, he was just seated. So how will you know?
And he's not afraid to stay with strangers.
Yes. So these children, they have surprises. They are really interesting. Yes.
So what is your biggest obstacle have you overcome with your son that you're so thankful you are like this was
big? The first one was my fear and my worry. That was the biggest thing I had to do for me to know that now I have this son of mine. I have accepted him, and now we can move on. Because I was very scared of him. I asked God. I remember there's a time I asked God, how can you give me such an assignment? And I remember someone telling me from the support group, like Dylan was to be born anyway. God was just looking for a mother. So I took it like, oh, so I'm a mother on assignment, you know. He's not mine. I'm just a custodian.
Yes.
So the minute I discovered that I'm just a caretaker kind of, you know, I'm in God's field, and you know, He looked at me and He's like, this one can take care of
handle
that
it.
son.
Yes.
I'm like, okay. So God thinks I'm so special. That was one of the
You are
greatest
able
obstacle. Yes. And now another one was concerning schooling. I was so worried about what will happen. So my fears disappeared. And sometimes I talk with the teachers that teach you, and they tell me, thank God you accepted Mama Dylan. But it's not, it's because I discovered how much will worry make me. I will be stressed. Probably die early and leave Dylan to suffer, you know, like I believe he would, you know. So that was the biggest obstacle, letting go and letting God, you know. Just let's go and let go.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
That was the biggest yeah.
You know, the way you are saying it is so beautiful, because if you don't take your child as a gift from God, no matter how they are, able or whatever they are, if you don't take them like you are, God has entrusted their life to you to nurture them, because one day they will leave. If you don't think it like that as a parent, then you'll just take your children for granted. You just say, I'm just it just came an age I gave birth, so I am a mother. But when you take it like that, you say that you are a woman in assignment of God. That was so beautiful. So I understand that you are working. How are you able to balance between work and your son? Now, not the Dylan of now, but let us go back to 5 years ago. How are you able to? He was young. He had not developed like the way you are saying he has now. How are you able to?
I thank God because He gave me a job in a church, you know. And I had colleagues who understood my situation. And more that we are doing child development, I was in a very good position to minister to Dylan.
Okay.
So I've received a lot of support from colleagues, a lot of support from family, and from church, and now the social media platform. So I've found myself, when Dylan needed maybe an extra hand, I would get that opportunity to be able to take care of him. And he doesn't school far from where I stay, so I'm able to see him in school. The teachers are also just amazing. So it hasn't been easy, yes, but because of this kind of support from so many people, I have been able. I look back and sometimes I can't even explain how I did it. I just know that
by the grace of
God took it over, you know. Yes. So I'm able to work. I go to work. By the time I come back home at 5, the first thing I do is check his homework. I do his homework. Luckily, he's autistic. He doesn't have a lot of sleep. So by the time he sleeps at 10, we have bonded. We have taken care of his homework. He has eaten, you know. So I've been able to navigate like that. And again, I've also received support in terms of my daughter, who is right now in high school. You know, I've received support my sisters are able to take care of the girl as I take care of the boy. And now as he's growing, now they even ask me, where is Dylan? You can bring him, we stay with him. Right now I can have that freedom. And my friends like he's learned so much from my friends. A friend will just come and pick him up for the Sunday afternoon, and I get my self-care time and I take care of him.
That is
so it's a lot of I've received a lot of support. Yes.
So support is everything.
It is key. And if you live near a parent with a child with special needs, just give them that extra hand. They need it.
So about your daughter, you know, we have talked so much about Dylan because he's our point of discussion today. How were you able to as a parent now, how are you able to give love to Dylan and Tugi without Tugi feeling like my mother has neglected me? Now there is a new child. How are you able to do that?
Tugi Lorena was when she was around 6 years, she started a prayer. She told pray for food, and she's like, God, I pray that you may give me a brother or a sister.
Oh, nice.
So this was her answered prayer. So when Dylan came along, she was so excited. And by the time he got the diagnosis, the sister was still waiting so that they can have stories and everything. So they became close. But then now my sister, she's like, my brother is not talking, is not what. So she also had a share of her own stress at that time. And by the time, I think she was in grade 5 by then, I discovered she's not even reading. She's spending so much time with the brother. An action had to be done. I had to take her to boarding school because I felt now her life had come to a standstill. So I took her to boarding school so that she's also able to take care of her. And during the holidays, they can bond. And to be honest, if you have a child with special needs, their siblings also suffer.
Yes.
They are not normal. They don't live normal lives.
Not only special needs.
Yes.
When one of the family members is sick, everyone suffers.
Everyone suffers. So now I had to take the responsibility of talking to her, explain to her how the situation is. And I remember there's a time she felt like all the children in boarding school are having their brothers in school. I took him. I took him to the boarding school so that she can see her. And recently I also took him the high school. So that she can also feel it. And I told him, you guys know how to communicate. Just make sure you're okay. So with time we have also tried to help her deal with the situation, and she's been a very good friend and a friend, a teacher to Dylan. Of course, they bully each other like other children. There are times they fight, sibling rivalry, and I let them be. And I let them be. So she's been affected, but she's happy. She's happy. At least she's able to teach him a thing or two. Yeah.
Then she's a very beautiful young woman. The fact that she loves her brother like that, even she will not be able to think that you're not loving her enough.
Yes, she has.
Even the way she's big, also she can see what you're going through. So she will not be able to think like mother is neglecting me. This woman has found a new baby, so she doesn't want me. Sometimes it happens.
It happens. But when she's home, they stay together. Like she's reading and he's there with either his phone, doing his videos, or he's doing something. So they have grown to be tight. They are good friends. Yes.
What has God taught you in this journey?
This has been a school
of its own.
I have been in school with God since this boy became 3 years. He has taught me to be patient. He has taught me to be responsive to the needs of others. He has taught me to understand. Before I conclude, I make, or what people call judging me, my friend, I will have done so much.
So, Mama Dylan, what has God taught you in this journey with Dylan?
Yeah, I always say that I've been in the school of God since the boy was 3 years. One thing I've learned is patience. I used to be very impatient. I used to want those chap things, And here is a boy who will eat in 1 hour. Here is a boy who will tell you things you will not understand. Here is a boy that will start crying in a supermarket because he wants a toy car that is color yellow, So I have learned to be patient. I have learned to speak. I have learned to love children and to not judge anyone. One thing anytime I see a mother struggling with a child, I always want to know if there's anything I can do. I may not do much, but just speaking to them and telling them, hey, I've been there or I'm already there, so can we lift each other up, So I've learned to live one day at a time, Instead of carrying so many things, so many burdens, crying, will my son become big? Some other even think, will my son get married?
Yes.
Will he be able even
Yes.
to go to school, I have learned to take one day at a time. And like I'm telling you, autism, the development of autistic children is like watching the hair grow. You can imagine hair grow,
slowly by slowly.
Yeah, so you become patient, you become, and again, like God has taught me to always be on the front line to seek information.
Yes.
So like learning,
Yes.
Dylan has even taken me back to school because I thought like, wow, why not do more? Why do not learn about autism? Why not join the world as we do research on it,
Nice.
Yeah, so
Yes.
God has taught me so much, and again, He has also taught me to be able to love children, to just love on children regardless of how they are or where they come from, and it has changed me as a person. When you work with children, you don't grow old.
Yes,
You keep on being
that is why you can meet your teacher, your primary teacher, and you think that you are older than the teacher now.
Yes, because
You are
those
like,
teachers were with children all this while. You become
they don't grow old.
Yes, you can say that
Our
again.
teachers
So
don't grow
they
old.
don't grow.
Yes. That is so beautiful. Yani, your story is so nice. Even we can take forever. We just talk here because in those 10 years, 10 years is not 1 hour.
It's not
1 hour is not enough to tell a 10-year journey. We appreciate.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. Another day we will welcome you again.
Yeah, and another thing, like what I would like to tell the world about autism.
So that is where we are going. I want you to look at the camera and tell someone who they don't understand what is autism. Tell the world what you want them to know about autism. Then second, tell the parent who has a child with autism. Just give them word of encouragement. Tell them something nice.
One thing I would like the world to know is that autism is here. Autism is not a curse, but it is something that God has made to happen so that we may glorify Him. We need to know that God has given us very intelligent children that have been put under the cover of autism. But it's upon us now to tap into this intelligence so that these people can be able to transform and to change the world. And the only thing that we can do is to change the community. What we are told is that autistic people don't suffer more from autism, but from what the world perceives them to be. So it is us to change our perception so that we can make the world a better place for them. Because we have autistic adults. These children become autistic adults and they are changing the world. They are doing great things. We have great engineers. We have great people doing great research, writing enough materials to change the world. Let us give them a chance. And to that parent, your life is not over. It has just begun. If God has given you that talent, embrace it. Just know that God has looked and seen that you're capable, you're able to take care of this child. One day at a time. One day at a time. And the grace is sufficient.
Amen.
And like I said, His will, His bill. He will take care of you. When you're not able to afford that service, just make sure that you do what you can do at that particular time. If you're not able to take your child to that special school, take them to that school. And for us, let us create this opportunity. For those who are able to do legislation, let them do enough legislation to make sure we have schools for autistic children. Thank you.
Wow. That was so beautiful. You have heard from Mama Dylan, Nancy, and I know that we have learned something. Yes. We have learned something that God's will, it is upon It is?
It is his bill. God's will, his bill.
God's will, his bill.
His will, his bill.
That is so nice and that is so perfect. So this was Womanpreneurship with me, Leah Mwangi Hassan, here on Clutch TV every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Make sure you are locked. Make sure you tell your friend to come and camp here. Thank you and bye-bye.